The latest MoCo talk just dropped for Chapter 2, revealing new weapons, gadgets and passives and much more, and we're going to be taking a look at everything in this video. So first of the weapons that we're seeing was the shotgun. We've all seen this before with the events. Pretty solid weapon, and we actually see its abilities and main attack functions, and it reads: shoot 3 bolts that deal damage at medium range. Combo attack: every 8th attack is a mega shot that shoots 8 pieces and bolts in a wide area, dealing even more damage. And we did get some gameplay as well in this MoCo talk of the weapons in use, but that is the first weapon it looks like we're getting in Chapter 2. So next up that we're seeing was the Time Claw, and this looks absolutely awesome. I think it looks like a really cool weapon, and the main attack for this is swing your claw to deal area damage in front of you at close range, and then the combo attack is every 6th attack deal damage to enemies around you and removes 1 second from all gadgets that are in cooldown. That's like really interesting because there's some gadgets there, like the snow globe for example, that's got a long cooldown. So this combo attack actually reduces the cooldown of them gadgets when it uses combo attack, and that seems pretty interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what this weapon's about. And if you want to stay up to date with all the sneak peeks, guys, coming for Chapter 2, feel free to subscribe and turn on notifications because I will be covering all the updated sneak peeks in their entirety. And then finally we've seen the poison bow, and this is a weapon from early days in MoCo. I actually did do a video thinking, can we see these weapons in MoCo Chapter 2? And this was actually one of them, so I did call that one out. And the main attack of this is shoot an arrow that damages single enemies at long range. Combo attack: every 4th attack shoot a volley of 3 poison arrows that explode in a small area, dealing damage over time and slowing non-boss enemies. So it looks like a ranged DPS weapon. Looks pretty cool, but not only that, we got some gadgets, so let's take a look at them. So the first gadget we did see, we actually seen this one on the KPI that was posted from the MoCo team some weeks back, and it's called the Pew 3000. Pew it says there just somebody. Construct a turret that shoots at a single enemy from a long range. And this, from the gameplay we've seen in the MoCo talk, this actually looks pretty cool. Like, I'm a big fan of this gadget from what I've seen of it in the MoCo talk. But like you can see there as well, the cooldown says 30 seconds. But like we mentioned with the Time Claw weapon, that actually reduces the cooldown of gadgets. So this could be a nice little combo, the Time Claw gadget and this turret, depending on how strong it is. And then the second gadget we're seeing was the healing totem, and used to summon a totem that continuously heals you and allies in its radius. And it sort of looked like from the gameplay that a flower blossomed from the floor with a radius around it, and anyone inside of that radius got healed. So it's just another healing gadget there, but it does look pretty cool nonetheless. And then the third gadget was a gadget called Life Drain, and this sounds interesting as well. And this is deal damage to enemies around you and heal yourself for the same amount. Damage is split evenly among surrounding enemies. So that sort of suggests that the more enemies that are around you attacking you, the less damage it's going to do, but it will attack multiple enemies, but also heals you at the same time. So this sounds like it's going to be a gadget for a tank build, I would guess, looking at this description and seeing a bit of the gameplay there. So let's take a look at the passives. So the first passive is a passive called Cactus Charm. Every time you get hit, deal revenge damage back. And again, this sounds interesting. It sounds like an interesting passive to me. And again, it low-key sounds like a passive that a tank player would use, or a melee player. This sounds like a gadget you wouldn't use if you're using a ranged weapon, because obviously you're at range and not many things are going to hit you. But it does sound super interesting indeed. And next up was the gadget battery, and every time you use a gadget, zap the closest enemy for a shocking amount of damage. Note, best when using a low cooldown gadgets and fighting a single strong enemy. That sort of obviously logically makes sense, because obviously the more gadgets that you're getting off, the more frequently you're using them, the more damage this gadget battery is going to do. And then we also add the pocket airbag, and I really like the sound of this one. And this reads: every 5 seconds gain a shield that prevents any damage, stun or pushback from the next hit you take. And I like the sound of this one just because it eradicates stuns and pushbacks when the shield is active. And that's something that frustrates me when I'm world farming and doing missions, getting stunned by enemies and knocked back and stuff. So this passive sounds really interesting to me. So then they moved on to some world gameplay that we're seeing in the MoCo talk. And the first one we're seeing was Feline Invasion. And this, to me, at first glance, this looks like a really cool world because it's spacious and everything looks pretty wide and there's a lot of room to move. This is one of the things I sort of disliked in chapter 1 with some of the worlds. There was a lot of narrow channels and corridors, and they got filled with monsters, and it was hard to maneuver sometimes through them. But looking at this gameplay, there's actually a lot of space on this map, and also we can see the enemy, the arrow cat, which obviously looks like the silhouette of the monster that's at the end of chapter 1 worlds, and it says coming soon. That looks like it is that. So it was a cat. Obviously ties in with the feline world. And we can also see some quests in the top left. Hunt scratches, save the civilians. Obviously this is going to be normal. You're going to get new worlds and stuff. So you're going to get new NPCs. And then that'll be obviously new missions tied in with them. So that's quite normal. That's stuff I would expect to see. But again, as they're playing through the world, we can just get a glimpse of some new enemies. The Whisker and stuff. And we have like a mini boss. It looks like it's called the Kudo. And this actually looks pretty cool. We just get a small snippet of that, but still cool nonetheless. And then we also see a little snippet of another mini boss called the Blue Herring. And again, he actually looks pretty cool as well. Then we also see Sanctum Gardens. And again, you can see the world missions sort of quests. Protect the NPCs in the top left, protect groundskeepers, and protect gardeners. And we can see a lot of vines coming up from the floor in this world, and they're quite a pain. We do have them in chapter 1 for the is it Chaos Blossoms or Chaos Flowers or something like that. They do the same thing. And we had a snippet there of an enemy called the Frost Stomper. Now we're seeing some stuff from the Royal Quarters, and this actually looks really cool to me from what I can see in the gameplay on this MoCo talk. And we've got the statues there against the wall with some nice wall art, and I think that actually looks pretty sick. And then we can see a mini boss there called Duke. He sort of looks like a cricket at first glance. You can see that antenna on top of his head. And again, this kind of looks like a spacious world. Looks like there's a lot of room to maneuver inside of this world. And we can see some gameplay of the Royal Guards, and then some of them statues we've seen moving around, so it looks like they might come to life. And then moving on to Frostpaw Dock, and this actually looks cool. It's actually a frost world. Obviously the first frost world we've had in MoCo. We can see some skitters there, which look like the little crabs. And we did have a crab in one of the KPIs as a little sneak peek. Looks like it is that crab there, which is a skitter. And again, this world looks spacious as well. It looks like they've widened everything from what I can see in this MoCo talk with the world gameplay. Just looks like there's more room to maneuver. Obviously, if you're running around in a big wolf pack, that's good because you've got a lot of players in one place. So it looks like there's a bit of room there on the worlds. Then we get a snippet of some riffs, and there's a riff there, and it looks like a Spin Slayer boss, Windy Mountain Top, and we can see the boss fight. It looks like a big slug, but he's putting out some looks like poison clouds, all in purple. And it's very interesting because in the gameplay it covers the full screen and you can't see anything. So looks like he might be fighting blind inside that rift on the boss fight due to his abilities. And then we see some footage from another rift called the Overgrown Tomb. And then this just looks like a boss fight, and the boss is a big vine mother, it says. It's just a big flower. Looks like it spawns mini vines that you've got to deal with. And then obviously the area AoE damage coming in from the boss. So we had a little snippet there of another rift. And then we also seen another rift called Throne Room with the boss. Looks like she's going to be called the Beetle Queen. And this actually looks awesome from what I can see in this MoCo talk. And the Beetle Queen looks like she just sits in a huge chair and does AoE damage attacks. And it looks like she doesn't even get up out of the chair during the boss fight in the footage we seen. But nonetheless, it looks really cool. I like this take on riffs. They're changing it up a little bit. And then we get a little snippet of some extra riffs there, which is Let Manny Cook, Jaxed Out, and Secret Pact. So in the Secret Pact riff, we can get some gameplay from the MoCo talk. And Jax and Manny are actually in your team. So it's like a little team of 5 essentially. And then he cuts out and Joao's phone sets on fire. And then coming towards the end of the MoCo talk, we're getting some new faces, new beard cosmetics, which I'm glad about because my character's beard doesn't look like my beard. But we're getting some new faces and new cosmetics for our character's face to customize them a bit more there as well. And then he also talked a bit more on the XP, because these changes coming at the XP according to the MoCo talk. But when we go to show you the XP stuff, we see a couple worlds there as well. Feline Invasion, Ceremonial Square, Castle Undercroft, Sanctum Gardens. And we can see their worlds because it's highlighted in the bottom left. But talking about the XP, you can see in the MoCo talk, and I'll just read it out. It says, XP and Chaos Shards gained from battle boosted by 3 times. Does not affect XP from jobs, missions, or projects. More in 22 hours, 15 minutes. And then you can see 40,000 out of 140,000 XP with a little refill bar there in blue. Then right at the bottom it says 60,000 battle XP is added each day. 20,000 of this boosted XP, which is earned 3 times faster than normal XP. And you can save up to 7 days worth of uncollected XP. So it looks like that's going to be a little XP bank, so to speak. So you can say if you don't log in and play MoCo for 1 day, it looks like it's going to store up to 140,000 XP of your 3 times boosted XP in this XP bank, which is a W change. So please don't need to panic if they don't log in and miss a day's worth of XP, because your bank will hold it up to 7 days. And then it looks like it's the same for the normal battle XP as well, with a total of 420,000 XP. It's just the same concept. So if you're not doing your 3 times boosted XP or your daily 60,000 XP, you're just not logging into the game at all to grind any XP. Looks like you're going to be able to store up to 420,000 in total over 7 days, which is awesome. So if you don't play for a couple of days, you can have a long, hefty play session there to get through all your stored XP and stuff. It's like I say, it's absolutely W change, this one. And they also got a little snippet of the new team. It says in the top left. This looks like it's the new lobby. We didn't get sort of much information on this. It has been a bit revamped. It looks like it's been a bit revamped, a bit reworked. There wasn't a ton of information on this, but at least we know for chapter 2 we are going to get sort of updated quality of life lobbies. And then we were going to be shown more rifts, and then we had a little frame there where we could see a couple of rifts, which was Grand Library hard, the High Court hard, Snowclaw Summit hard, and Dank Depth hard. And then also coming in at the end, some changes to the leaderboard, and it looks like them going to be removing the global and local leaderboards, and you're only going to be able to have leaderboards displayed for your friends list and things like that. And the leaderboards are going to be for the elite currency base now. So I don't know how that's going to go down in the community. You guys let me know your thoughts about that in the comments, because I don't know. I sort of think it's going to impact the community. I don't think they're going to like it. But I'm sort of thinking that most people aren't going to be that bothered. So you guys let me know in the comments your thoughts on that. And then coming in at the end, we also had a little bit of discussion about the PvP. There's going to be 4 new modes. It's going to be solo, duo, team of 4, and large team only. And I didn't play XP at all in the first chapter. It's not my cup of tea. So I don't really know a lot about XP, to be honest. But they did talk about it in there. These reworks coming to PvP. And it seems like it's just going to be 4 modes, and that's it. And like I said, subscribe, turn on notice to stay up to date with all the sneak peeks for chapter 2, because a lot of stuff wasn't mentioned in that MoCo talk. And like they said at the start of the video, we're getting new rifts and dojos. We didn't really see anything on the dojo side of thing there as well. So make sure you subscribe, turn on notice so you can stay up to date with all the sneak peek footage, and we'll catch you hunters in the next video.